Hello everyone, welcome to Indian Economy by Soni. In today's news hour, we shall be discussing the important articles related to economy from the Hindu newspaper. In page 1, we do not have any news related to economy. You just glance once and know what is this issue regarding the NSC and the IT probe. In the editorial page, there is an article about the India UAE Free Trade Agreement. That is important from mains point of view. We'll go through it. Now, the India and UAE are into discussions of signing a free trade agreement. Earlier, India would join into free trade agreements just to join a particular grouping. Now, the government is saying that its approach towards the free trade agreements are changing. And what is that change? Now, we don't join just for getting into that particular grouping or a bilateral free trade agreement with a country, but we get into free trade agreement in order to get market access and to connect the Indian industries to the global value chains. So we are having some business purpose in mind when we are doing that. India is focusing on free trade agreements with many countries. Last week we discussed about the discussions on the free trade agreement between UK and India. Currently now we are discussing with UAE. We are also in discussions with European Union, Australia, Canada, Israel. And when it comes to UAE, what are the advantages for India and UAE? This UAE in recent years has emerged as an important economic hub, apart from the strategic location that it is situated geographically. Under its Vision 2021, the United Arab Emirates, it has tried to diversify its economy because currently its economy is majorly dependent on oil, and since 2012 it wanted to diversify its economy and it has been doing that successfully. From the hydrocarbon sector, it has diversified into financial services, wholesale and retail trade, business services, and other sectors. If we go back into history, India established diplomatic relationship with UAE in 1972. And in 2015, when Prime Minister Modi visited UAE, they signed the Strategic Partnership Agreement. And when the Crown Prince visited India in 2017, the strategic partnership was upgraded to Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. Now we are into discussions of signing a Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. So if you can observe that slowly the level of trade and the level of agreements are increasing. And why is trade with UAE important for us? Currently the trade between India and UAE is around 53 billion US dollars. And UAE is India's third largest trading partner, and we want to increase this trade in 5 years to 100 billion US dollars in merchandise trade, that is the goods, and around 15 billion dollars US dollars in services trade. Apart from the fact that we get large transfer amounts from the Indians living in the UAE. UAE is also an export hub for the Indian market because various Indian companies are investing into electronics, automobiles, and engineering sectors in the UAE. And UAE is also investing heavily into India, around 11.67 billion US dollars worth of investments, making it the ninth biggest investor in India. And various Indian companies have set up manufacturing in the UAE through joint ventures and in the special economic zones in sectors like cement, building, textiles, consumer electronics, engineering products, and so on. So, with this rising relationship and trade agreements between India and UAE, it will prompt the other multinational companies to invest in both India and UAE because of the free trade that has been happening. And what is the benefit of India signing with UAE apart from the direct benefits that we have in trade and services? And that is, UAE is part of the Gulf Cooperation Council, and it is also part of the GAFTA, that is Greater Arab Free Trade Agreement. And because it is part of both of these unions, we get access to all these countries, and in through the GAFTA we get access to the North African countries. It will help India to have relatively easy access to the African market through these countries because all these countries are part in the GAFTA, and this helps our supply chains to be diversified in sectors like handlooms, handicrafts, textiles, and pharma. These are the benefits of India UAE free trade agreement. But there are some issues. And what are those? Even though the tariff rate around in the UAE is around 5%, under WTO, the countries can impose non-tariff barriers which are justified. And one such non-tariff barriers are sanitary and phytosanitary measures and technical barriers to trade. What are the sanitary and phytosanitary measures? Under the WTO agreement itself, you can impose certain conditions to protect the animal, human, and the public health of your country from the various diseases and pests. So, for example, if you are importing mangoes to another country, that particular importing country can impose that these mangoes have to be de-infected, and they might also need certain approvals and certifications that particular mango is disease and pest free. So in simple words, technical barriers to trade is any restrictions that make the free trade difficult to happen. For example, a particular country might require, it needs certain certifications and documents before a particular product could be exported to that country. So this makes the trade difficult, and the sanitary and phytosanitary measures are justified if they are reasonable under the WTO. So the article says UAE has around 451 SPS notifications related to live poultry, meat, processed food. So here, for example, under the live poultry, they can impose that the particular chicken, the poultry meat that is being exported to UAE has to be injected with so and so medicine. It has to be up for sale only after a particular number of days, and the meat has to be processed in a particular way to be allowed. And technical barriers to trade include the type of stickering, the details of the product on the labels, the expiry dates, the dates for consumption, all those relate to the technical barriers to trade. So the author says these compliances can pose a challenge for the Indian exporters, and transparency under the FTA could help, and it makes us predictable to know what we are supposed to follow. That makes the exports easier. That's this article related to India UAE free trade agreement. In the news page, there is again mention about the India UAE free trade agreement. Since we have already covered it, you just need to read the headline and skip through. India's first water taxi service inaugurated in Maharashtra. The project connects Navi Mumbai with main city. For prelims and for non-UPSC exams, you need to know that much. You don't need to go into much details about it. And in yesterday's news hour, we discussed an article about the China app ban, and the impacts that it would have on India. Now China asks India to ensure fair treatment of its Chinese firms. You don't need to go into the details because nothing is important for exam in the details. Just read the headlines, skip. Same with this article. Read the headlines, skip. And we don't need the details about losses of Jio, Nestle India. So this article related to finance minister, let's look into it. The finance minister bats for more income support to low and middle income nations. Under the G20 finance ministers meeting, the finance minister is saying that we have to make a multilateral initiative wherein the low and middle income countries would be able to meet the pandemic and climate risks in a proper way. Whether it be about simple needs like PPE kits or the medicines, currently the low income and middle income countries, they are not able to meet that. So we need to create something like the global public goods wherein the countries would have access to all these goods. Now here we can understand the concept of public good. In economics, the goods are divided into private goods and public goods. We need to understand the difference between these both by understanding its characteristics. Private goods have rivals. They are excludable. For example, if I have to use the service of a particular company, they will have to charge something. They would charge something from me. So any person who doesn't pay the charge is excluded from using that service. And me using that service would make the other person not able to use the service. To take a simple example, if you want to travel to a particular place, you have to pay for the bus charge. And if I sit in that seat by paying that bus charge, any other person can't sit in that seat. So by paying that charge, it is excludable because any person who doesn't pay the charge is not allowed to board the bus. And by sitting in that seat, it becomes rival in nature because any other person can't sit in that seat. Public goods, it's the exact opposite. They don't have rivals, so they are non-rival in nature. They are non-excludable. Meaning, me using that service won't diminish the service for any other person. Let's take examples of public goods. Street light, public education and health, defense. So if I go and stand under the street line and any other person comes and stand under the street light, me standing under the street light won't reduce the light for this person, the other person who stands under the street light. And it is non-excludable in nature. The public would be traveling and it would be passing under the street light, and you cannot take away the light for the other person because he is not paying something. So it is non-excludable in nature. Same applies with law and order, defense. And the public goods would have the problem of free riders. Except the naturally available public goods like free air, free water, all the remaining public goods like street light, defense, law and order, public education, all this would be provided by the government based on the taxpayer money. So here the taxpayers are the people who are paying for that, but the non-taxpayers, they are getting these public goods, the service of these public goods for free. And such type of consumers who do not pay anything for the good but they are enjoying the good, they are called free riders. That's the difference between private good and public good. Public goods are non-rival and non-excludable in nature. Those are the articles related to economy today. Thank you so much.